What's up, everybody? Jack Fall here on behalf of Box to Box Football, and in today's video what we're going to just take a quick look at is, as the contracts of some pretty notable players start to wind down, where do we think they're going to go? Not only where we think they're going to go, where should they go? If we're trying to advise these players on which clubs should maybe kind of pique their interest, maybe we should kind of get into that. So we'll start at the top of the list here, obviously courtesy of Transfermarkt. Again, I'm sure our viewers know at this point how much I love this website. The guys there do a fantastic job. Top of this list, yeah, guys. Let's be honest here. We're not messing around with any kind of trash players to begin with. We have the one, the only Lionel Messi. Obviously, we've got Joan Laporta, who is the new president of Barcelona, which does obviously make a huge difference now in Messi's decision on whether he's going to stay or leave the club. Now, yes, okay. Age, blah, 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 sell on value, blah, blah, blah. This is Lionel Messi. If anybody has ever heard me speak with Timmy or anybody else who's really well informed on Barcelona, they will know that the money you spend on Lionel Messi in terms of wages, which is unbelievable, obviously he's going to make your club. Lionel Messi plays for another team that is not Barcelona. The Messi 10 shirt in either Manchester City colours, Paris Saint-Germain colours, Inter Miami colours, LA Galaxy colours, whatever, is going to be the highest selling shirt that year. I don't think that is up for debate at all. Messi, where should he go? I think it's going to be tricky. I've heard a lot of this stuff about how Manchester City created this offer for him so that he would play at Manchester City for about 2 years till he's 35, 36, and then they would have him go to New York and play under the City Football Group umbrella, obviously the kind of company or the business that owns and runs Manchester City, New York City Football Club, and a myriad of other clubs across the globe. I think he's going to stay at Barcelona. And I think he's going to stay at Barcelona purely because Laporta, I think, does have some sort of sway with him. I don't know why or what that would be. And I think he's going to be able to say to Messi, look, at least give us 1 year under the new presidency. Things have looked better recently with Ronald Koeman. And I did I don't think it's going to be released, sadly, but I did do a video with Timmy regarding Barcelona, looking at their squad, which players they should maybe get rid of, which players they should maybe keep. There's actually a lot more optimism in this Barcelona squad than I first thought. You know, from a naive approach, I don't watch Barcelona every week. So I would like him selfishly to go to Paris Saint-Germain or go to Man City. That I think would just shock the footballing world, and everybody would be really put on notice for what Lionel Messi can achieve at a different club. It would certainly prove a few kind of red flags to me about the GOAT status thing. I do believe Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT when it comes to professional football. I've no doubt Lionel Messi is more talented, but I just look at the international achievements and the time only spent at one club, and one of the greatest clubs of all time at that, and I just think to myself, you know what? I think Ronaldo has the edge. I would love to see Lionel Messi prove it in the Premier League in particular, but even him playing in PSG, I think I would take. My prediction, though, I think the man is probably going to end up staying in Barcelona. So, moving on to the next player on the list, I believe we have my favourite pick, actually, out of all these players running out on contracts, is, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Guy's 22. Has been, an international goalkeeper for Italy for a number of years now. Has played, I can't believe we're saying this at this point, 5-6 years now as Milan's starting goalkeeper in Serie A. This to me, this guy has all the potential in the world, depending on his career moves, to be recognised as the greatest goalkeeper of all time. Not strictly in terms of his upper echelon of talent, but I think that if you play professional top-tier European football and international football from the age of 16, 17 up until your mid to late 30s for a team like Italy and a team like AC Milan, and potentially some bigger moves, Mino Raiola in mind here, I'm expecting him to grace some of the bigger teams over the course of his career. I'm just excited to see what happens with Donnarumma. Look, guys, we don't need to look at any specific information here. We know how much of a fantastic signing this would be. Rumours swirling around the likes of Chelsea, I don't think they're totally happy with the ceiling of what somebody like Edouard Mendy can bring to the club. His floor, his kind of safe pair of hands, excuse kind of the pun there. But I don't think that they see Edouard Mendy being the goalkeeper that leads them to Premier League titles, Champions League titles, etc. And obviously we know Kepa Arrizabalaga is probably the worst Premier League signing of all time. And, they are still hurting from that mistake. Donnarumma on a free transfer. He'd probably ask for quite a lot of money. I believe the latest request from Mino Raiola and Donnarumma to Milan has been 10 million euros per season. And the response has been, well, we'll give you 7.5. I believe he's currently on 5 or 6 million per season. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. Manchester United are the other kind of major candidate. Rumours swelling again. David De Gea has just had his first child. His girlfriend, wife, has never moved to Manchester, never moved to England in his entire time playing for the club. And Dean Henderson, West Ham, Tottenham and Chelsea, all interested in somebody like Dean Henderson. What he did with Sheffield United, some impressive performances so far this season for Manchester United, and he may well be, depending, come the end of the season, be England's first choice goalkeeper, beating out the likes of Nick Pope, Jordan Pickford for the number 1 spot in an international tournament. So Manchester United may want to go all in on Donnarumma and getting rid of the likes of Romero, De Gea and Dean Henderson in one season would be an incredible turnover at the goalkeeper position. My prediction is he's going to stay at Milan. I really do believe that he likes it there. He likes being in Italy. He likes what the club have given him from a young age up until his time in the first team here. They will give him a big pay rise, you would imagine. And this guy still has 10, 15 years at the top of his game. Countless European tournaments, World Cup tournaments, European club competitions, and obviously domestically, AC Milan will be hoping to challenge at some point over the next few years the likes of Inter, obviously they're great rivals, and Juventus, another fantastic rival. Their head coach, of course, being Andrea Pirlo. Where would I like Donnarumma to go? It's very tricky. I'd love to see him at Manchester United. I'd love to see him at Chelsea. Selfishly, I'd like to see him in the Premier League. Part of me thinks that this is kind of only going one way, and that Donnarumma will be the Juventus goalkeeper at some point. I don't know whether it will be this summer, but somewhere in the future. I honestly believe his best bet is probably staying in Milan. So I think I'd like him to stay there, and I'm also going to predict that he does stay there as well. I think that when Szczesny kind of moves down the pecking order there a little bit, and obviously Buffon eventually comes to a point of retirement, Donnarumma is going to be the natural heir to that throne of the Italian powerhouse. Moving on to the next one, David Alaba. Interesting one, really interesting one. Came out publicly, said he was leaving. I think we could all kind of tell that before he even mentioned it. Great age still. Position versatility, great value as well. I'd like him to go to Real Madrid. I would like him to go to Real Madrid. Whether that's in a left-back capacity, even at a centre-back capacity. I think Rafael Varane has kind of dotted his name around to some big clubs to generate some interest so that his next contract at Real Madrid is bigger than maybe the one that they would initially be offering him. Guys, that's a tale as old as time. Creating a market for yourself so that the club you're with gives you more money. I think the time with Sergio Ramos may be coming to an end. We'll get to him a little later in this list. But I think David Alaba would come in, and there would really not need to be any getting to know time. This is an experienced player at this point, prime of his career. He's going to be able to come in. Zidane will be able to ask him to play really wherever he wants. Keep in mind that midfield, something's going to happen there. Modric, Kroos, Casemiro, Fede Valverde's come in and been really, really good. So I think David Alaba would be a great fit at Real Madrid. That's where I predict he's going to go. That's also where I think he will go. Sorry, that's where I'd like him to go, and I think he will go as well. I've heard rumours of Barcelona. Obviously, teams like Manchester City will always come up as well. A lot of the bigger teams. I think Man City probably have spent enough on defence for one lifetime. But yeah, that's kind of a straightforward one. I'll be honest with Alaba and where he will likely end up. Next one is a little more interesting. Now, I think it's quite predictable here because we've heard so much about Memphis Depay. Prime of his career at this point, 27 years old, just 27, I should add, £40 million. Good goals, good assists, contribution for Lyon this season. It seems as though Barcelona is going to be the place for him. The kind of thing I find interesting about that potentially is if somebody like Messi is going to stay, you want Pedri to play more. Maybe he'll play more in midfield than sticking to out wide. You've got Ansu Fati. You've got Ousmane Dembele. I don't know if it's as cut and dry as Memphis Depay playing for Barcelona next season. I also don't think that's where he should go. I really don't. I'd love to see him at Real Madrid, personally. Guys, I believe I just got the notification on my phone. I believe Hazard is injured again. I also, you speak to Real Madrid fans, bring up the name like Erling Haaland, oh, we're signing him this summer. Bring up the name Kylian Mbappe, oh, we're signing him this summer. Bring up the name Paul Pogba, oh, we're signing him this summer. Guys, it is not going to be a summer where Real Madrid can buy Erling Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, and Paul Pogba. It's not going to happen. One of those three, two of those three at a push is what I would say is probably going to happen. To me, I think Memphis Depay can be everything Hazard was supposed to be at Real Madrid. And if there is a choice potentially to move on from Hazard, then maybe that's the way to go. I think Memphis Depay's style and the way he plays suits Real Madrid a little bit more than it would suit the likes of Barcelona. I think he'll end up at Barcelona. I've heard way too much in terms of rumours circulating that that's the place he is going to go. I'd love to see him back in the Premier League. I think he's a fantastic talent, but I do expect him to be heading to Spain. I'd like to see him in Real Madrid, though. I think that'd be really cool. Jorginho Wijnaldum, right, we barely need to talk about this one. This guy's going to Barcelona. I'd like him to go to Barcelona. Look, guys, I think Wijnaldum is a really good player. And when I say really good, that's what I mean. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's excellent. I could name plenty of midfielders that I deem better than him. But something that Jorginho Wijnaldum does very, very well is he does lots of things that aren't sexy and won't show up on a stat sheet for the Liverpool team. And the reason why I think he gets brought up in a lot of conversations about who's underrated as a part of this Liverpool team is, he's going to be one of them. Henderson really is the kind of heart and soul. You've got the fantastic front three. The fullbacks garner a lot of attention. Alisson, Van Dijk. Wijnaldum really does just chip away and fulfilling his role very, very nicely for this Liverpool team. He's smart enough, and especially going to a manager like Ronald Koeman, who knows him very, very well. I think it's a fantastic move for him. And guys, this is the business side of football taking over. Liverpool, I'm sure, do not want to lose Wijnaldum. But Wijnaldum signed a 4-year deal? Wijnaldum signed a 5-year deal. Here he is, 5 years later. The contract they offered him was not to his liking. He didn't like the vision or the platform or the project that was being showed to him after Liverpool's recent successes. And he just thought, you know what, I'm going to go play for one of my previous bosses, one of my countrymen, play with Lionel Messi and play in Barcelona. And fair play to Wijnaldum. I think he'll go to Barcelona, and that's honestly where I'd like him to go. I think he deserves that move. Another name linked to Barcelona recently, and guys, I've got to be honest with you, this whole list kind of feels like a Barcelona list in terms of the players whose contracts are running down. Sergio Aguero. Guys, the guy is dead on his feet. I won't hear anything else from anybody else. People will say, well, he's not that old. I mean, he's 32. He's going to be 33 for the start of the next season. Guys, this guy's played a lot of football for a long time now. He's barely kind of had a rest from his time Atletico Madrid, his move to Man City, playing for Argentina. He's always been available. He's always been great. This is an all-time great Premier League goal scorer. This is probably Manchester City's best ever striker. With the likes of a Vincent Kompany, a David Silva, maybe even throw a Yaya Toure in there. This is going to be one of the most special players in Manchester City's history. And I think that game time, I kind of put Aguero similar to Wayne Rooney in a number of respects. I think the fall-off has been so rapid because they've played so many games. They've played so much football at such a high level for so long. I don't know if Barcelona are going to take a punt on somebody like Sergio Aguero. I'll just put that out there. It's not where I'd like him to go. And I think maybe this is a cop-out. I'd like Sergio Aguero to go wherever he wants to go. I think he's earned that right. I don't want to see him at Man City. I don't really want to see him at another Premier League team. I'd love to see him in Italy, maybe for Roma, Sergio. If you want to kind of come on down to Rome, we'd love to have you. But I think that Sergio Aguero has earned the right to be able to go to whichever team he wants. Reuniting with Atletico Madrid might be kind of cool. But as I've said, I don't think he's the player that we all remember, and we're not going to see him fit for 40 games a season anymore, including cup competitions as well as league competitions. This is a guy who I think will probably end up playing 10, 15 games a season now. And for the wages that he's potentially going to be on, do you want to take that? Personally, probably not. The US might suit Sergio Aguero. I think he can really make a name for himself out there. Maybe join some ex-pros, who he may know, who knows. But where I think he'll go, it's honestly hard for me to say. I think I could see him back at Atletico Madrid. Honestly, I think I could. Man, that's not easy. That's not easy. That's not an easy one. You'll have to hold me on that one because I don't know. Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Now, this is kind of an interesting one. What I'm going to do here is actually bring up some rumours, just so that we know what we're looking at. Just so we can see if there's any news here. Because the guy's still got talent. He's just turned 27. He's been good for Milan this year, really good. 9 assists and a goal, 31.5 mil still valued. Whenever I see Manchester United links to to players, it does always make me laugh because I feel like that is the classic and the go-to with these. I think he's probably going to stay at Milan. That's what I would say. I think that even if a team like Manchester United, let's say, does put a contract offer down for Çalhanoğlu, I don't think it's going to be the level of contract that he would want from a team like that. I think the Manchester United team with a Bruno Fernandes, a Donny van de Beek, Paul Pogba technically still on the bill there. Some young guys coming through. Do I see them forking out a big contract for Hakan Çalhanoğlu? Probably not. I think his agent's probably trying to figure out a way to get him more money at Milan. He seems settled there. He's playing good football. So this may be kind of boring, but I think Hakan Çalhanoğlu will remain at Milan for this coming off-season. Right, moving on to some kind of more interesting names where there's not too much notoriety around them anymore in terms of where their next transfer might be. So Florian Thauvin is an interesting one. Always caught my eye when he was at Newcastle. I thought he was fantastic. News Now do a generally pretty good job. I'm seeing Leicester City links here. Leicester. Aston Villa. It would be a real nice signing for Aston Villa to get somebody like Thauvin. He's a really dynamic, creative, exciting player. Not to say that they don't have the likes of Jack Grealish on the roster, for example. But I think for Thauvin, interesting. World Cup winner there. I see that. What do I think is going to happen here? The thing is, the Marseille team is good, but I just don't know if Thauvin is going to be able to because guys, here's where I'm coming from, and I'm fumbling over my words here. I'm sorry about that. When you hit like 26 to 28, depending on your position, right? So for goalkeepers and maybe some defenders, it might be later. For strikers and wingers, it may be earlier. You hit a point where you go, okay, this is probably where I'm going to earn my most money and have my most success as a player. And the difficulty there, you want to kind of time it and do it properly so that you get to a point where your stock is at its most high, when your potential has been fulfilled as much as it can, so that you can make the most money from it, win the most competitions, this kind of thing. So I look at somebody like Jorginho Wijnaldum. Has Jorginho Wijnaldum's stock ever been higher? I would say probably not. So he's really going to have the choice of all the clubs he wants. He's going to be able to get a lot more money, I think, than he's currently on at Liverpool. And he's timed it, he's timed kind of his career perfectly. And I think that's brilliant and fair play to him. Obviously, you've got outliers like, Messi and Ronaldo. Those guys are the GOATs. That's crazy. But I look at somebody, say, like Paul Pogba. I don't know if anybody's ever going to pay what Manchester United did to get him in the first place. Additionally, I don't know if anybody's going to give him the money that he would want that he's currently on. I think he's probably going to have to take a little bit of a pay cut. So this long tangent that I've kind of gone on here to talking about Thauvin, do you want the peak years of your career at Marseille, where maybe you'll make a Champions League spot because PSG are going to win the league every year, and chances are you'll probably get knocked out in the knockout stages of the Champions League. Maybe you'll make it to quarterfinals if you're lucky of the Europa League and then get knocked out. I'm just not so sure. Now, he's a World Cup winner, but I would say moving to a team like Leicester would be great for his career. I would love to see him at Leicester. I think they do have offensive needs there. I know you've got James Maddison. I know you've got Harvey Barnes. Jamie Vardy's getting a little older. I just think that Thauvin might be a good option at Leicester. It'd be great if Villa could get him, of course. But I just think that maybe Leicester would be a good pick. What I think will happen, man, I can't help but think that he might be attracted to a team in Italy. You've kind of got this top 7 of teams from Inter, Juventus, Milan, Atalanta, Roma, Lazio, my God, I'm missing somebody, and Napoli. I just can't see, because all those teams are going to be competitive for those top 5 spots in Italy. And when they get into Europe, I know this year's been a down year, but maybe in future years it's going to be a bit more competitive. I wonder if something comes up in Italy that does tempt him. I don't see him at Marseille, and maybe he will come back to the Premier League. I don't know. Man, there's been a lot of talking and not a lot of action. I'm sorry about that, everybody. Thauvin, that's an interesting one. I wouldn't know what to say there. Leicester would be where I would I think want him to go there. Okay, Otavio. Now, I'm pretty sure here that we have, I think the last time I looked, it was a Wolves transfer. And you'll be shocked to hear that because he is a Portuguese citizen. He's Brazilian, and I think he has represented Brazil for the under-23s and the under-20s. But yeah, Portuguese citizenship linked to a team like, you'd be shocked to hear it, Wolves. Also got some names popping up here. Leicester City as well, making a bit of a noise there. Talking Wolves, my goodness. Let's try sportsmole.co.uk, see if they've got anything for us here. Previews of games, that's not really what I want. Bordeaux. Okay, guys, this is not the guy. This is not the guy we're thinking of. We're looking for a Porto guy. Okay, so, I mean, I'm going to get some pretty biased ones here from Talking Wolves and Leicester Mercury, but it looks like it's going to be Leicester and Wolves who are going to make the kind of initial push for him. Here's what I'll say about links to Wolves. Guys, Pedro Neto is a superstar in the making. To me, at Wolves, he's been better than Diogo Jota was at Wolves. I like Diogo Jota. I've got nothing against the guy. I just see more talent from somebody like Pedro Neto. And also what he's been able to do at his age, I think, is impressive. So I just wonder if they want to sign an attacking option, who can play left, can play right, can play through the middle, just to cover when Pedro Neto does eventually go. Any smart businessman, when working in the transfer market, will always look to buy the replacement first and just kind of pretend that it's a squad rotation option, then sell the player they have. Because then you're at a point where you can go, right, I've already signed my replacement and I didn't have to pay too much for him. And now I'm the one in control of letting my star player go at whatever price that I so choose. I'll often revert back to the Ousmane Dembele transfer when he came from Borussia Dortmund. I know it was Neymar who was the one who, paid his release clause, and there was that dodgy way of him leaving the football club. But then, obviously, Borussia Dortmund know that Barcelona have all this money and a huge Neymar-shaped hole to fill. So they signed somebody like Ousmane Dembele, way, way overpriced. We've seen nowhere near the type of talent that his price would have indicated. And yet again, not Ousmane Dembele's fault, Barcelona's fault for not getting ahead of the situation, stopping something like that from Neymar, or potentially getting a replacement in the moment they got word of it, or at least working something out in the meantime so that they wouldn't be put in that situation. I wonder if that's something Wolves should do with Otavio. Much the same with Tovan and Leicester. I just think they need probably another attacking option in there. With Jamie Vardy getting older, I know they need more of a striker, not more of a winger or a 10. I do think he'll leave Porto. He's going to make more money in Europe's top 5 leagues, and I think there's interest there for him to do so. Henrik Mkhitaryan, this one's kind of an easy one for me. I think he's going to sign an extension at Roma. He's been immense this year. He's been immense. I don't know what to say about the guy. He's been so good. In a team that largely has struggled, Nicolo Zaniolo getting injured and being out for the vast majority of the season sucked. I can't put it any other way. For some, got rid of Cengiz Under on loan at Leicester. Leicester are coming up a lot in this video. And obviously you've got Justin Kluivert at Leipzig as well. I don't think that's going to be made permanent. I'd be shocked if it did. And he's come in along with Pedro. He's been way better than Pedro. Him and Pellegrini, Ibanez, Spinazzola, Veretout. He's been a real shining light, and I think Roma would be crazy to let him go. I also think something to put off other teams is he didn't do well at Manchester United. He did not do well at Arsenal. The only time that we've seen him really be the Henrik Mkhitaryan I think that we all know and love is from his time at Dortmund, and here we are, however many years later. From 2016, it took till 2020, 4 years later, for Mkhitaryan to kind of rediscover his best self and what he's capable of, and that is goals and assists in equal measure at a high level for a good team. So I expect him fully to sign an extension at Roma. Draxler is an interesting one. Eric Garcia, very quickly, I think it's borderline already been confirmed that he's going to sign with Barcelona. And I think great, good for him. That's where I'd want him to go. He deserves that. I think it's a shame, really, that Pep decided to spend money on the likes of Nathan Ake, Ruben Diaz, and not give Eric Garcia a chance. Now, Ruben Diaz has been immense. And actually, a large part of the reason why Man City are going to, win the league, probably a canter at the moment, with what was it, 21 wins in a row at one point before the Manchester derby, is for bringing somebody like Ruben Diaz in. So I'm not criticising that at all. I just kind of feel bad, I guess, for Eric Garcia for not being given too much of an opportunity under Pep. I wonder in a few years whether Pep might, or Pep, if he's even there, if Manchester City might regret letting Eric Garcia go. I wonder if, like the other side of Manchester, there might be a Gerard Piqué situation going on here with Eric Garcia. But Julian Draxler, let's have a look here. I fully expect the standard Arsenal rumours to pop up. I feel like this guy's joined Arsenal like 8 times. Arsenal fans, let me know. News now. Here we go. Draxler on possible Bundesliga return. I feel a bit homesick. Draxler in early talks with PSG for an extension. Okay. Pochettino urged Leandro to extend Draxler's contract. Interesting. Okay. So, I mean, I can see here Juventus plan to try and get him. I can't, if Juventus keep making these Bosmans, I just don't know how they're ever going to make any money. Because the thing is, guys, with free transfers and Bosmans, the player and their agent basically come to the club and go, look, we know for a fact that you wouldn't probably have been able to get us, if you were paying a transfer fee. And if you're paying a transfer fee and you had that kind of money ready, we want that as part of a signing bonus or a part of our contract. Juventus are famed for these free transfers. But guys, you have to understand that in football, the transfer fee to get the player's registration and the wages, and then obviously a future sale, whatever that may be, that is the deal. That is the represented value of the whole thing, okay? Like I say to you, if, and I like giving these dramatic examples just to kind of prove a point. If you sign Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in their prime on a free transfer, but you pay each of them £999 trillion a week, your club is bust in a week. It's not possible, okay? You can call that a great signing, whatever. You've still spent way too much money. And Draxler just feels to me like the kind of person who, if he went to Juventus, don't know how much of a starter he's going to be with the great midfield options they have, great wide play options as well. Obviously, defense coming through too. I mean, they probably need to sign a fullback here or there. But that's just not the kind of club I think that would work here. I'm going to say he signs an extension at PSG. Julian Draxler to me is in that kind of Eriksen mold a little bit, and I wonder if somebody like Mauricio Pochettino is going to say, you know what, let's keep this guy around. I think he can do X, Y, and Z for my team, and that's probably worth keeping him there for a year or two extension. I think he'll want the freedom in the future if he gets a good offer to do that. Draxler going to Arsenal. Arsenal are going to need to make some sort of a decision with Odegaard. I think we've seen his growing influence in that Arsenal team, and I'm just not sure if Draxler to Arsenal is a move that's ever going to happen. It seems like one of those ones that always gets rumored to happen but may not actually happen. Just wondering if there's any more kind of notable ones here that's worth talking about before we get into some crazy ones. Musa Marega, yeah, I mean, solid striker option for Porto. I think anybody kind of at a loose end who needs either rotation or kind of an emergency backup might go in there. We've spoken about Eric Garcia. Juan Bernat, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I've never been wowed by him at Bayern, at PSG. I overrated largely. Maximovic, solid option. I don't know if any elite top level clubs are going to come in for him, but we'll see. Lucas Vazquez, I think Real Madrid should keep. I don't think that you want him to hold your feet over the fire and pay you loads of money, but I think you want to try and persuade him to stay. Position versatility, great squad member, seems like a fantastic teammate. I think him staying at Real Madrid would be best, but I think if a top team can use kind of a utility man, then that's probably going to be your best purchase. I can see somebody like Pep being interested in somebody like Lucas Vazquez on a free transfer. Coming in, covering some positions, smart footballer, experienced. Rafael Santos Borja, I think, is kind of interesting. I don't actually know who is interested in signing him because obviously he's been in South America now for a long time, and a lot of these guys are great and whatever. So here we go. Former Atletico Madrid player Rafael Santos Borja open to coming back. Close to being transferred to Europe last summer. Heading to Brazil as his last days with River Plate could be coming to an end. Doesn't seem like there's too much of a market for him. It seems like he came, like, guys, I'll be honest, I forgot he played for Atletico Madrid. Um, okay. Signed in 2016. Went on loan to Villarreal. Came back from his loan. Oh, so and then got sold to. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's much of a market there. There's enough time, I think, spent. I mean, I know it's only over a couple of years, but there's enough time there spent in Europe where I think people can get kind of a feel for him. And it just doesn't seem like he's going to be any kind of major team's cup of tea, if you excuse how painfully English I am, for Santos Borra. So that's an interesting one. 25, good age. There's still a lot of good years left in him. Ramos, we'll see. PSG comes to mind for me. 1 year deal, Hey, Sergio, can you come in, boss the back line, help us win a Champions League? Can see that being a mutually beneficial thing for Ramos and for PSG. Especially if somebody like one of Neymar or Mbappe is going to be sold, there's going to be money there to pay some guys in different positions. You've already got some fantastic options across the board who you're not overly overpaying. Rumours that they might want to try and get David De Gea from Manchester United. Largely speaking, I think that you could probably get kind of somewhat of a cut price deal there for De Gea. De Gea is not the player he was. I would say Dean Henderson at this point is a better goalkeeper. And if they do want to kind of move on from Keylor Navas, De Gea would be a good option, I think. I don't know if Real Madrid are going to give him a new deal. Certainly not what he wants, let's put it that way. And Ramos, I really put in that category of Chiellini, Thiago Silva, just guys who are older and you think, they've got to be done now. I mean, what we saw from Porto the other day, is these caliber of guys who, even in their mid-30s, are still performing on a top level. Not their peak, but, relatively speaking, compared to their competition, still at it. Cavani, rumoured to go back to South America. I think that his extension at Manchester United would increase his pay, which is, I think, why that's not been triggered yet. And I think Manchester United are looking for a centre-forward. It would shock me if they're not in for Erling Haaland. I know Solskjaer used to coach him, etc. Josh King, probably a Premier League move for him. Bertrand, Premier League or Championship move. Bertrand and Josh King, both kinds of players where I'd be like, hey guys, just try out Europe. Try out somewhere else in Europe. Test the market. I'm hoping people will follow in the footsteps of the likes of Kieran Trippier. For somebody like Josh King, we've seen what some of our young forwards in the Bundesliga have done. I'm not saying Josh King is young anymore at 29 years old in terms of football. But I think there's reputations to be built across the oceans. Jerome Boateng, I've never seen a 32-year-old feel like they're about 36 or 37. Be interesting to see what he does. Luka Modric, same thing. Guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Let me know what you think. Messi, Donnarumma, Alaba, Depay, Wijnaldum, Aguero, Çalhanoğlu, Tovan, Otavio, Mkhitaryan, Draxler. Some serious names here in terms of their contract kind of running down. Your club might be in for them. And that's extremely exciting. This is certainly, when you're topping the list with Lionel Messi, this is certainly one of the more exciting free agent windows coming up for transfers for the summer transfer window, especially off the back of a European Championship. So guys, let me know what you think. Have I gone crazy with any of my picks? Do you think I'm wrong anywhere? Have you got any predictions of your own you want to drop in the comments? But failing that, please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.